What's going on? Welcome to Reading Between the Wines. Tonight, you got yours truly reading my book, Deliberation Volume 1, My Inspiration. So, welcome on in. Go ahead and tag your friends, invite them in. Reading Between the Wines. We're going to have some good conversation. We're going to open up a little bit, and I'm going to let you know exactly how I arrived to where I'm at here today and give you a little bit of a sneak peek about some moves that I'm going to be making in the future. Reading Between the Wines, April 13th. So tonight, I'm sampling Juicy Hill Rosé. Something's going on tonight also too, and other aspects. I don't know what's going on Instagram, but it is what it is. We're here on YouTube, we're here on Twitter, we're here on Facebook. So drop it in the comments, let me know where you're calling from, and hopefully the people from Instagram move on over. We're on D Live, we're on Twitch. I will tell you that certain things happen in life for a reason, and we never understand why things go the way they go, but then it's also for the bigger and better plan. So if it's meant that some of these doors have to close up and I have to go to different areas, and it's all good. Like right now, I'm on Daily Motion as well, just another different avenue. So check me out. The best thing that you can do is click that link above all of my social media platforms and just check it out. Go to here, go there, check out whatever works best for you. Shout out to the people on D Live as well. I love when my D Live family comes through. Reading Between the Wines, we got Juicy Hill Rosé tonight. Some of these things just might be distractions, which I'm starting to understand. That when doors close, when people leave, when things change, I've learned that I ought not get upset about these things. I need to just embrace it and go with the flow. And you never know what's going to happen, what's going to come from it. And that's basically what this deliberation experience is about here. I want to go ahead and get right on into song of the day, but we taking it back. We going back to the original book. So this is my original book. This is My Inspirations, Volume 1, Deliberation. You can click that link above. And this is $9.99. And we're going to get into the reason why I wrote this book and all that's inside of this book, including my favorite, The Queen of Hip Hop Soul. So, yeah, Volume 1. And then after you get done with Volume 1, you can go right into Volume 2. So, Deliberation Experience tonight, you can get both. This is $9.99. This is $7.99. So, before we go ahead and get into that, I want to rewind this thing and let's get into Song of the Day. Sometimes when we go through some things in life, while we're going through it, we don't understand why, and we're like, ugh, like what's going on? Like, what is happening? And why is this happening to me? I just need, a break. Give me a break. So I think about songs like Mercy, Mercy, Mercy by Queen Latifah, released in 2004 off of the Dana Owens album. And man, Queen Latifah just did something with this. And I love the instruments. I love the jazz. I love the soul in it. And, of course, when Queen Latifah is singing jazz and soul, it's like, all right, we need to listen to this. And you just got to listen to the lyrics. Sometimes you want to say, please have mercy on me. Like, how much more can I take? When am I going to get a break? But like I said, after you go through it and you come out on the other end, sometimes there's beauty. And I'll tell you that, we're going to rewind this thing too with, the book. When I was going through this phase here, that's all I was screaming, like, have mercy on me, help me. I'm crying. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where I'm at. I don't even know who I am at this point. Help me try to assume and not assume. Help me try to, get my identity. And that could be a word too, like assume my identity, get into the role that I need to be. This is what was going on in 2020. Deliberation again. Click that link above all of my social media platforms, and you can go inside of Deliberation Volume 1, $9.99, and find out as we get through this here tonight. Reason why I wrote this book, why I'm here today. Because who knew? I didn't know what was going on during that time frame. But what I also didn't know is that I would have so many people from all over the country, rocking with me. And I appreciate I'd had no idea, first of all, that I would be speaking to so many different people in the US, not even to mention outside of the US. I spoke to people in Jamaica, I spoke to people in India, Canada, um, Netherlands. This is like something that I never knew that was going to come. And this happened by tapping into this book here, writing this book and sharing it and getting on here, podcasting and, sharing my story. So I have to say thank you to everybody who continues to support the 411 podcast and Reading Between the Wines. Let's go ahead and give it up to Westside Scully last night. He came through and he shared his story. And when I tell you that he shared his story, he shared his story. He opened up and he spoke about real life situations which go on in his current environment. And I have to give it up to him because, he didn't have to come in here and do that. And he did. We got it from a real rapper, hip hopper's perspective when they're trying to come up in the game. And when you're trying to come up in the game and you got people who really don't want to see you succeed, it could be a little difficult. So if you want to listen to Westside Scully's story, hit that replay from last night and you can hear all about it. I want to give a very special shout out to Mr. Adam Bullock, all the way from Phoenix, Arizona. What's going on? Miss Shanti Refuge. She releases journals, 26 journals. Y'all go ahead and check out my friend, Miss Shanti Refuge Journals. And also Leah Abraham. I believe you are from New Mexico. So thank you for coming through and supporting the 411 and Reading Between the Wines. She's going to be back on shortly. Now, got that good rosé. As we rewind and reflect what we spoke about last night, the question is, when a love is over, is it a good idea to keep in touch with the ex? Now, Miss SOS came through. I want to say shout out to SOS. She was, down with the crew from the beginning. Her response was, yeah, I'm still, in touch with my ex's family, and there was nothing weird about it, and everything was cool. I know somebody who stayed in touch with their ex's family, and they became family, and it was cool. Westside Scully last night, he wasn't feeling that. He said absolutely not. When the love is over, the love is over, and that's what that means. The ex is still going to try to get to you through the family, so you need to be careful. You need to watch what you say. I've heard this before, and the man that I am today, I have to say I don't know. All of these burning questions is so funny because if you look at the 401 podcast, Reading Between the Wines, when I first started, I was coming from a hurt. I was coming from an ignorant place. It's cool to say that today. Now, some of these questions, I'm like, as I evolve as a human being, because, I was like a little child back in the day, but as I evolve as a human, evolve as a man, I'm starting to understand that some of these questions, they could go either way. And today I would say I never know. You never know what would happen. Because I might just. Who knows? It all depends on what the breakup was like. How bad was the breakup? Was it a clean slate, or were you at each other's throats? Did the parents, the family that you're speaking to, aunts, cousins, uncles, whoever, were they mutual or did they take sides? You never know. So, with that, we all know that we have some power. We can change our situations. I spoke about that as well. You can still have that friendly conversation. You can still speak to somebody from the past because you have that power. But in order to tap into that power, which we all have, sometimes you have to question some things and you have to question yourself. So, my question to each and every one of you out there is, when is the last time you questioned your situation? Question your thoughts, question your actions. Why am I feeling this way? Why does this happen? Why does that happen? Until you figure all of those things out, you may not be able to have those productive conversations. You may not be able to hang out with an ex. You may not even be able to hang out with their family. You may not even be able to hang out with their friends until you start to question the reason why you feel the certain way that you feel on the inside. Because that's you on the inside. It's just plain and simple. Once you figure out what's going on within you, all of the stuff on the outside, if you get it right, it'll be very limited and it may not be able to hurt you at all. That's the ultimate goal. All of the stuff that is outside of you has nothing to do with you, doesn't concern you. None of that stuff, none of the actions of other people, whether you frown, whether you have this attitude on your face, whether you talk shit behind my back and I overheard a little bit of it, all of that should not affect anything that I got going on. If you want to get to that point, because trust and believe, I was never this person. It took me a while, but I'm here now. How I got there is because I questioned all of the things that was going on in my life. Why do I constantly feel the way that I feel? Why, when I come into this situation or I see this person or I even hear somebody speak this person's name, it puts me in a situation where I'm feeling like, that something's not right. I had to question, why am I feeling this way? Why am I acting this way? The problem is when you don't ask questions, and that's speaking with self. Ask yourself these questions. Why am I feeling this way? Why is this happening? For those of you who were so quiet, if you were anything like me and you didn't say anything, you didn't ask anybody questions, it was hard for you to get with self and ask yourself these questions. Why am I doing the things that I'm doing? Why do I go to the places that I go? Why do I lower myself each and every time just to feel something from somebody else? I had to ask myself those questions. You got to deliberate. And that's where we come with this here. This is how I started it, by asking myself simple questions. God, what is it that you want me to do? I sat around. I did everything that they wanted me to do. I dressed the way that they wanted me to dress. I acted the way that they wanted me to act, and I still didn't get the results that I wanted. Limited. I got some things out of it, but then after a while, once that turned dry, we're back to feeling the way we feel about ourselves. Simple, plain and simple. Go to the next situation, everything's cool and good in the beginning, and then after a while, we start to feel a certain way about ourselves after it starts to get stale, after it starts to get dry. I had to ask questions. Why am I going from this job to that job? Why am I going from this relationship to that relationship? Why am I failing in this marriage compared to listen, like this is some real stuff that I had to get with myself and ask. And I had to deliberate. Now, this book here, we're celebrating 2 years. 2 years of me getting it together. I could care less at this point whether this book sells 100 copies, 1,000 copies, 2,000, whatever the case may be. This is important to me because this book significance the point of when I got my life together. I spoke up for myself. I was crying out, reaching out to so many people. How many pastors did I have to go to? I spoke to 2 or 3 Buddhists to try to, get myself together and figure out why did I feel the way? Why am I feeling this way? I had to deliberate. Mm, 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 mm. It's just so amazing to me after all of the stuff that I've been through that this book here would help catapult me into the person that I've always wanted to be. Everything that you see here is what I've always wanted to be, but I was just so scared I didn't know how. So this book represents this scared, let me get my finger right, this scared little boy here that was just seeking out, asking questions, wanting to know, looking up, asking God, what is it that you want me to do? What is it that you want me to do? And I had to keep saying that. What is it that you want me to do? Because right now, I don't feel like I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing according to you. There's no way. Absolutely no way. The results that I have right now, I had to tell myself it sucks. You got to do better than this shit. Everybody looking at you like, yeah, you got it going on. You got this, you got that. You got the cars, you got the house, you got all of that. Great. But what they failed to understand is the misery that was going on inside internally. So when you look at me as the man I was back then, yeah, we could dress it up, we could put on whatever and, buy the, fly sneakers and coats and all that stuff, hats and, do it up. But on the inside, I was just dying on the inside. And nobody could see that. And this happens to each and every one of you out there. I don't care who it is. You see the person with the nice car, you see the person with the nice house, and everybody looks like, oh, I want that and I need that. And that is exactly what, I'm striving. Look, this person is balling, this person's doing this person's doing that. But what you fail to recognize is that there's something that's not right on the inside. On the inside of that person, on the inside of that person's finances, sometimes on the inside of a house. You ever go inside of a house and you get a feeling that something's just not right? I'm sure so many people got that feeling when they came inside of my home because it wasn't right. Whenever you go into your home after working 60 hours a week, in some cases there were 80 hours a week, and you can find no peace in your own home, there's a problem. And that's when, I had to really get into deep prayer and say, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I can't be in my own sanctuary and be comfortable. This really has to go. So I had to ask myself these questions. And the first question that I had to give to myself, again, My Inspirations Volume 1, go ahead and click that link above all of my social media platforms, and you can go ahead and get this book for $9.99. This has been released 2 years ago. We are celebrating the second anniversary of this book here. So now the first very question that I had to ask myself inside this book here, excuse me, I have to get myself together here. The first question I had to ask is, are you taking responsibility for your emotions and behavior? And when I realized that I wasn't, because I was too busy pointing the finger and blaming everybody else, I said, no, we got to do something about this. Mm-mm. Does your life determine extreme care and deliberation? The answer is absolutely, because if it doesn't, there's going to be a problem. Somebody going to check out of here. And I hope that I don't, I hope that I don't go to jail for my behaviors, because apparently I didn't take any responsibility for me and I was just spiraling out of control. And when we talk about spiraling out of control, some of you out there might have family members that spiral out of control. Oh, Johnny, or whoever, oh, he's crazy, or he's just going to do this, he's going to do that. Sometimes we have family members like that, and there's nothing that they can do. You might have a family member that's strung out on drugs. You might have someone who's an alcoholic. You might have somebody who has a bad attitude, somebody that likes to fight all the time, somebody that steals all the time, somebody that's very promiscuous. Oh, listen, all of these things, it is what it is, right? But there is nothing that anybody around you can do until you decide to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm going to get it together. I don't want any more of this in my life. These are some of the questions. Remember I said questioning, right? I had to ask myself these questions. Do you deliberate with God, with yourself, or with others? Now that's a big one right there, because who do you get counsel from? Do you go to God, or do you just get in the way and act like you can handle it all? Because that's another thing. When you feel that you can handle everything and you don't need God to really step in and put his almighty over top of the situation. Or are you too busy telling every single thing to your friends and taking counsel from them? And there's nothing wrong with that. I reached out to a couple friends last week, and and had a great conversation. But whatever was told to me, I didn't go and take it and run with it. And also, I'm not seeking counsel for people who are doing worse off than I am. So, for example, if you're married and you're having an issue in your marriage and you have a hard time communicating things to your significant other, the one thing that you probably don't want to do is ask your single friends to help you. Probably not going to work out well for you. That's just my opinion. It is what it is. I heard this back in the day. You can strike it like you like it. It is what it is. As my girl says, Mary J. Blige, you can hate it or love it. It is what it is. Take it however you want to take it. But I know too many people who are in relationships run around and ask people who are not in relationships for advice, and they end up tearing up their marriage or tearing up their relationship. It's a problem. Are you judged by your deliberation process? And if you are, that's a problem because you shouldn't even worry what people say. I don't care who you believe in or what you believe in, but believe in something real is what I have to say. So many different religions out there, so many different people who take, different spiritual paths, so many different things that go on. Who are you to judge? I mean, I see so many people judge different people on, their walk at life, and I just sit back and I don't say anything because the people that are judging, I'm like, I just wonder what your life is like. This person is too spiritual. This person is too holy. This person is this person is that. I don't think we need to get involved in that type of conduct at all. But if you are judged by it, that might mean that you might be moving in the right direction. When and where does your deliberation process begin? When and where do you start? Does it start first thing in the morning before you even get out? Is it in your car? Do you stop and drop everything at a certain time throughout the day to reflect? When something goes on in your life that is really going to take you for a loop, do you take some time and sit back and deliberate and try to figure it out? These were some questions that I had to ask myself. Are you triggered by other people's actions? This one, I can't even believe when I wrote this. I used to be triggered by other people's actions. And I'm so glad today that what other people do, and I still have to tell myself this. If I was on 100, the scale can go up to 100 to where you're going to explode. Fahrenheit, let's just do degrees. Let's keep it real and do degrees. 100 degrees Fahrenheit was the temperature of me boiling all the time. Your actions would cause me to go all the way to 100. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm perfect. There are some things that happen, some things that people do. That's their actions. Now it's to the point where I sit back and be like, Laren, this is completely outside of you. This has nothing to do with you. You are going to need to sit back and think about why are you feeling this certain way about somebody else's actions that is outside of you, that has nothing to do with you. It took me a long time to get here today. And I am just amazed at the fact of all of the things that I endure here today. If I didn't get healed, if I didn't have the right mindset, and some of the stuff that I have going on in my world today happened back then, curtain call. Close the curtain, show is over, done. It's a wrap. I'm just amazed at it. So for people out there, oh, well, you had an attitude, you did this, you looked at me like that, you said something smart, so now I'm going to get crazy. The answer is absolutely not. Mm-mm. They got a saying out there, and I'm trying to keep it real. I'm trying to keep it clean. I'm just celebrating the release of my first book, My Inspirations Volume 1, Deliberation. Y'all go ahead and click that link above. All of my social media platforms, you can purchase this book for $9.99. But back in the day, I heard so many people say, I wish a nigga would. Today, I don't want to wish it on myself, but you can't. I'm saying it to the aspect of try it. Try it if you want to. You will not succeed. I spent so many years of just spiraling out of control and not having it right that today, mm-mm. So this book is so important because this is when I started to get it together. This helped me get it together. This is a book of quotes, scriptures, themes, and questions to just get your mind on a different level. My Inspirations is full with a whole bunch of people who inspired me. These people inspired me, so therefore I'm able to inspire others. That's why it's called My Inspirations. You're going to get a whole bunch of people in here. You got, of course, the Queen of Hip Hop Soul, my favorite, Miss Mary J. Blige. You got Stevie Wonder, Shaka Khan. You got Nina Simone. You have Esther Roll. You have Malcolm X. You have Betty Shabazz. You got Tupac, Faith Evans, the Notorious B.I.G., Nas, Busta Rhymes, Queen Latifah. And these are just some hip hoppers. But not to mention some of the other names in here. Oh, love him. I actually started to listen to some of his, you know, past recordings. Mr. Dick Gregory. So many people in here. Curtis Mayfield. David Frost. Alice Walker. Aretha Franklin. Coretta Scott King. Michelle Obama. Andre Harrell. Lil Kim. I have some African proverbs in here. I said Shaka Khan, Meg Thee Stallion. So many good things come out of this book here. Is your life full of stress and disappointment? Yes, it was. That's exactly what was going on. That's how this book came about. My life was full of so much stress. And the one thing that pissed me off all the time is when I look around my own situation and I look to the left and then I look to the right. I'm going to be good. I'm going to be good. I'm going to keep my mouth clean. None of them had any stress. None of them had any type of stress or disappointment at all. They were just okay with the situation. They were fine with it. But I was the one holding all of the burden and everything. I had all of the stress. I had all of the disappointment. Because guess what? If I don't go to work tomorrow, if I don't make this shit happen, it's all going to be on me. Because you ain't working. You ain't working. You can't keep a job. I'm not even going to get into it. You taken from this, and just because you taken from this one, ultimately you taken from me. Because this is in my tribe. Listen, I'm not even going to get into it. I don't care what was going on at this time. I was running. I was scared. I was a whole bunch of stuff. I didn't even want to start social media back then. I wrote the book and I finished it, and then I looked at myself and said, now what? So now you got this book. Don't anybody know who you are? So what you gonna do? Just let the book sit there? You know, people come through the house, they can pick it up and be like, oh, you wrote a book? Cool. I thought bigger and better for myself. God thought bigger and better for myself. Let's keep it real. I didn't know that I was going to be a podcaster. I had no idea that this was going to happen. So I opened up an Instagram account. Had 20 people. 20 people. Today I have close to 2,500. Craziness. The first year was out of control. The way it spiraled up and blew out of control. Then after I did Instagram, something said, how about you head on over to Periscope/Twitter. Started that, and that was pretty good. And then something said from there, why don't you go on and get into Facebook? And then from there, So many other different things came. YouTube came, D Live came, which was amazing. So many different people show me so much love on D Live, and I appreciate them. Um, Twitch, TikTok was a whole nother situation that blew up out of control, and I had no idea. And yeah, had no idea I would be doing a second book. Had no idea I would meet so many different people all over this globe, basically. I speak to people in Iran. That is something else. You, Laren Gaines, the shy young boy from Hamilton. You want to call it Trenton, it is what it is. New Jersey, just basically little shy person from New Jersey that nobody knew anything about. You have conversations with people from Iran. You've spoken and had full on conversations with two people from India. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. The connections, the people that I have met through this podcast has been amazing. 400 some odd shows and counting. Hmm. Deliberation. Just reviewing, celebrating. It's been 2 years since I have released this book here. Now, one of the biggest things, it is a book filled of scriptures, quotes, themes. I have my quotes in here, which I'm going to go through all of them. I have enough time to get through all of these. But then I'm also going to give you some from people who inspire me. And of course, one of my number one inspirations inside this book is Mary J. Blige. But we're going to get into some of the other people and some of the other famous scriptures and quotes that mean a lot to me. This is one that's very important to me. Matthew 6:24. No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. And I've seen that in my life several times, and I've seen it with myself, and I've seen it with other people who have been in my environment. You start off in one aspect, and then once you start to go through life and you start to, get the blessings that God gives, sometimes we could forget who gave us the money, who gave us the cars, who gave us the house. And then when you start to put money and you start to make money, clothes, jewelry, all of these materialistic things that people see, you start to make those your God, you don't have a problem. I know better than that today. What goes up must come down. All that glitters is not gold. Trust and believe. And before you want what somebody else has, you need to be very careful because you walk a mile, first of all, a mile. You walk 5 minutes in some people's shoes, you'd be ready to go back and say, here, I don't want these. These don't fit anymore. You can keep them. I'll go back to the old, worn down, broken down Tims that I got. I don't want what you got. Here's from yours. Because this is how I felt. This is how I started off the book. Over the years, my life was continually jolted into rut after rut. Through much deliberation, I had to learn how to prioritize my life. This consisted of sorting. I had to get some things situated in my mind. You take this BS, you put it in that corner. You take that BS, you put it in that corner. And I'm talking about in your mind. You take all of these things that you got going on and you sort and try to figure out what's going on. After you sort, now you need to declutter. I don't need this. I don't need you. I don't need that. Get it out of your life. So I had to sort first. And then after I have to figure out and look at all of the piles of bullshit that I had in my world. This person's issue, they ain't got nothing to do with me. That person's issue, oh, you don't got no car. Now I got to worry. No, I don't have to worry about that. Has nothing to do with me. I had to sort and figure things out. Up, you lost your job again. What you want me to do? So I had to sort and I had to declutter. And then from there, once I got all of Laren's stuffs in order, I stopped paying your bills. I stopped doing this for you. No, you can't come to my house no more. Once I stopped doing all of those things, Then from there, I had to determine in this pile here, what is going to be my life's critical versus important. And then while I'm doing that, I had to make myself readily accessible to my executive producer, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the man up above. I had to go ahead and make myself readily. What is it that you'd like me to do? Because now, after I done cleaned all this stuff out and sorted and decluttered and got my life together, at that point I had nothing. Honestly, all of those materialistic things that I thought I had, and the jobs and the cars and all of this stuff, I had to burn it all the way down and with a clean slate. Now, when you get all the way down to the bottom and you realize that, wow, all of this basically was an illusion, and I was in living in somebody else's world. That wasn't me. That's not what I wanted. Then you're like, who else can you call on to fix this situation? Because we down. And when I say down, we were down. It was the low. You know when people say you hit rock bottom. I've heard that term before, and I was like, wow, this was my rock bottom. I remember being inside of my friend's home and said, wow, that big old house that I had, that big old house, that big backyard, the swimming pool, the pond, all of that stuff. I said, do you realize that my whole life is fitting inside of a Ford Fiesta? Now, y'all remember the Ford Fiesta in the 80s. They ended up bringing the Ford Fiestas back. So I ended up getting me a 2000 whatever Ford Fiesta. So when you get the Ford Fiesta, that's the tiniest little thing that it could be. I downsized from a 3-story home and put everything into a Ford Fiesta and kept it moving. And had the nerve to turn around and look at it. And I was a little disappointed. I said, wow, if this ain't rock bottom, I don't know what it is. I done took every single thing that I had in that house, sorted it, decluttered it, threw it away, ran away from it, take it, you can have it, and fit my things in some plastic bags and a small little Ford Fiesta. Back in 2020, I was so hurt, I was so disappointed, and I was just everything. But if I had known that I would be where I'm at here today, doing the things that I'm doing, going to places that I'm going, and I can see I have things set up for the future, man, I would be doing backflips out of that place. I would be doing backflips. I wouldn't have cried. I wouldn't have shed a tear. I wouldn't have done anything. And that's the most tricky thing about life. When you're going through the storm, you don't understand that that's just temporary. This is life. If you are obedient and you do what you're supposed to do, and you put your trust and you have faith in the one who knows you best, you'll be all right. But we get tricked up sometimes. It's this mind here that takes us to a place and makes us think that it's the end of the world, that it's not going to get better. Mm, 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 mm. Now, I gotta give a very special thanks to my friend, because I remember when I was going through some tough times, and she gave me this little card, and it had the Serenity Prayer on it. I don't know what was going on. I was going through a bad breakup. I gotta say it that way because I don't want to say too much. Some people get a little sensitive. But I was going through a bad situation at that point, and she gave me this Serenity Prayer. And at that time, I didn't understand it. I looked at it and I tried to read it. I tried to understand it, but I didn't get it at that point. It wasn't until damn near 10 years later almost that I looked at it and it made sense. God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That's real deep. Now, I'm going to break it down a bit. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, I cannot change this situation. So guess what? When you know you can't change it, you have to just accept it. Easier said than done. Trust and believe that sometimes I can still get tripped up today, but I don't stay tripped up. I used to stay tripped up for a long time and keep beating that thing and playing that same sad record 1,000 times over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. If I get tripped up now, it's only just for a little bit, and I snap myself back and I say, that is something that you cannot change. And when you know you cannot change things, you need to back up and you need to let it be what it's going to be. It'll happen. I'm keeping it real. It happens, but it don't happen and it don't stay long. I snap myself and I pull myself back and be like, we've done this before. We have been down this road before. And one of the biggest things when it comes to trying to change things is people. Why did I think that I could change people? You know, the only person that can change people is God. And that's real deep. So when I think back to who I thought that I was back in the day, didn't know who I was, but who I thought I was. You trying to say, Larry, that you were more powerful than God? And the answer is absolutely not. That's why the stuff didn't work. You can't change people. The courage to change the things that I can. Ooh, it's so deep. The courage to change the things that I can. The one thing that I could change is my circumstances, my environment. But you get scared sometimes. Oh, I need this person. I'm never going to do better. I can't, break away from that job because I've been there for so many years. I can't do this. I can't do that. That's fear. That's nothing. No type of courage. No type of strength is in that type of situation. And quite honestly, there is no wisdom in it. It's quite stupid. And I hate to say it like that. So if you don't want to be considered stupid, then change the situation. It's insane. It's stupidity when you continue to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, thinking that something's going to change. Grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. We already know that we cannot change people. You get wrapped up, you get entangled into something, and you think, oh, well, maybe if I do this, maybe if I do that, they'll change. The answer is absolutely not. But with that, please grant me the courage to change the things that I can. You may not change, but one thing that's not going to happen is I'm not going to allow you to continue to hurt me over and over and over again by your actions, by the things that you speak out of your mouth. So because of that, I'm going to change the things that I can, and I can get up and I can take responsibility for myself, and I can make a move. Here's the ultimate one, and the wisdom to know the difference. If you don't have that wisdom, you don't have that knowledge to know the difference, that could be a bad situation because you can end up repeating the same thing over and over again, trying to change something that you can't. You can't change other people. Leave that work. Leave that one to the Almighty. Save yourself the trouble. You went and you had another baby because you thought that you're going to go ahead and keep him and change him. Mm-mm. You went and compromised yourself sexually because you think that if you do some of those things, she's going to stay. It doesn't work that way. They'll change for a little bit. But remember, in relationships and marriages and situations, there's always bound to be some up and down. There's bound to be some separation. But that's why it takes both parties to go ahead and work to keep that thing together. Because naturally, you're going to get sick of each other. You're going to get tired of each other. You're going to go and sit in your corner for a minute. And you're going to go ahead and sit in your corner for a minute. And then maybe you two will go ahead and make that thing work back together. If you both are working on it side by side, piece by piece, day by day, got to be careful. So now we got things like internalize. Chapter 2, internalize. Again, my inspirations. Volume 1.5, not volume 1.5. I'm so used to saying volume 1.5. Volume 1, this is the original one. I do have volume 1.5 as well. So once you get through the first one, you can go ahead and get into the second one. So this is the journal version of this book here. So this one here is just filled with a bunch of scriptures, quotes, themes, questions, and it has some of the most powerhouse people in there. I just named a whole bunch of people. So after you get done this, you're going to get the same elements in this book are going to be in here, along with some affirmations, and you're going to have some lines for you to set up and do some journaling. So you can write your own story. I'm giving you about my past. I'm telling you where I'm at today, and I'm leaving it for you to go ahead and write about your future and where you want to be. This book, a little more reserved. Didn't really know what was going on. Like I said, it's that young boy in here. And then this one, I feel like I have developed into the king that I am. I never could get to a point where I could call myself a king because I didn't believe it. So in this one here, through working out the things in this book, led me to where I'm at here today. So you got volume 1, and then you got volume 1.5. It's been 2 years since I wrote this here, or actually I wrote this, but I didn't write everything because again, there's, scriptures, quotes, and themes in here, and some of these things are not 100% of mine. So I will say crafted and curated this book here. But I'm going to go ahead and read you chapter 2, Internalized, and I'm going to give you something from myself as well. So I wrote this here. I have to remind myself that every day is like a big recording studio because we do the music thing. I have to be so in love with my lyrics, my music, and production team. Every day that I enter the booth, I'm striving to make a hit record. So that's what I think about every single day. I always got music surrounding, always got music swirling. So I like to have fun with it, and I like to keep myself upbeat. And by that, I like to enter into the recording studio. And that's what life is. And what I do, what I put into that recording studio, everything I put in, I'm going to put out on that next CD, that next album. And what you put in is what you get out. What you give is what you get. So my life is like a big recording studio. If I don't like those lyrics, I don't like the producer, I don't like the beat, it ain't gonna work. Why would I put out something and produce something and stamp my name on it and say, this is me, if it ain't good? So every day I strive to make a hit record. If I make a hit record, it goes to number one, we go into the Grammys. That's how I look at life. And I never looked at it like that before. I always was so pessimistic. I was always so down. I was always so negative. Just go back. I was thinking about it. People, just go back. I got so many pictures to share and so many pictures to show where you could see that I never smiled. I remember showing somebody as a kid that I didn't even smile really as a kid, and they were sitting here saying some negative things, saying that I had the control as a little child to control the situation that I was in. I'm not going to discredit that 100%. We always have the power to do something. But if you're not exercising and you don't have people pouring things into you, you can get lost. So it was a shame because I saw it as a child, like 7, 8, that I really didn't smile much. I mean, remember smiling when I was younger. I see pictures of me smiling when I was younger, but then it faded away. And all of the pictures, you never really saw Laren smile at all. Glimpses here and there. But to see all of the pictures now and to look at the videos and the recordings and just to see a natural smile is amazing. I look in the mirror and I smile today because I like what I see. I remember so many years I did not like anything that I saw. This person think you're hot, this is that, you got this going on, all of that. Whatever people thought of me before, I never thought that of myself. I was always trying to Do this, do that, change this, change that, buy this, buy that, drive this, drive that. You think that cars and all of that stuff will help change your appearance and make you feel better? Listen, I'm just telling you, I'm speaking from experience, sharing my life with you just a little bit. So on this reading between the lines tonight, I don't know what the hell happened. A couple of the social media platforms broke down, whatever. Listen, when one door closes, the next one might be open. I see it. I'm not even going to call you out who you are. But as the professional live streaming podcaster that I am, I ain't going to do it. Because, there's business deals, there's all types of things that might need to occur. But the shadiness of the shady comes out with some of these social media platforms. And I hate to say it. I hope that another one doesn't bite the dust, but it is what it is. But if you think that you are going to stop me from doing the things that I do, it ain't going to happen. Not today. Not tomorrow. Only way it's going to stop is if I don't get up in the morning. And I'm keeping it real on that one. Let me go ahead and this is a good one. It feels good to go back and read this book because I didn't even know what was going on during this time frame. But I'm going to leave you with this one here. This is an African proverb. Let's go ahead and keep it real. When there is no enemy within, the enemy outside of you cannot hurt you. There's enemies all over the place. Your best friend could be an enemy and you don't even know. Your spouse could be an enemy and you don't know. I don't ever believe that you really know an individual. You want to know why I don't believe that you really know an individual, never really know an individual? I don't care how close they are. I don't care if you're your best friend, your lover, you're this or that. Because do you really ever really know yourself? You are constantly learning new things about yourself, and I'm just speaking for me. I don't ever want to point the finger and say that this is what's happening. I am constantly learning more and more and more about Laren each and every day. So if I am 40 years old, still learning about who I am each and every day, in 40 years I didn't get it, I can't even get me 100%. How am I going to get you 100%? This is why so many people have disagreements, divorces run rampant, all types of stuff, because people think that they know people and they jump into situations and they say things and they do things and they base things on what they think they know about people. Please. Because if I knew you like I thought I knew you, we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in today. Don't put your trust in man. That's one thing that I learned from this book here. You better put your trust in something bigger and better than you. Don't put your trust in man, because man will always let you down. I don't care when it's going to be. Could be tomorrow, could be next year, could be 10 years from now. Don't think that it's always going to be 100% and you ain't ever going to have any issues. There's going to be some disappointment. There's going to be some breakdown. There's going to be something going on. What goes up must come down. It is what it is. My Inspirations, Volume 1. Click that link above. All of my social media platforms. And then after you do that, then you can go ahead and pick up Volume 1.5. I'm so thankful that I have 2 books. One is going to give you a bunch of scriptures, quotes, themes centered around some of the greatest public figures that I look up to. And then you have this one here. That is a journal. Same elements, but you're going to get some lines in here. You're going to be able to write. You're going to be able to see where I've been from the past, give you a little bit about my present situation. And I want you to go ahead and write your future in here. Where do you want to see yourself in a year? Where do you want to see yourself in 2 years? Write it down. I'm going to share a little bit of story with you here. Some of it's good. Some of it's not so good. This is what point where I was in my life. You take those lessons and once you learn them, you go ahead and apply it to yours and you make it work how you make it work. Volume 1.5. The liberation experience tonight. Now, we talked all about where I've been. I shared a little bit, and that was just like chapter 1 and 2. We didn't even get into the whole. It's 12 chapters. We didn't even get into all of it. Spend another 2 hours on here if I needed to get through the whole story. But the question that I'm going to leave each and every one of you with: do you have the strength and the courage and the power to change your situation? It's not a question of do you really. We all have it in us. We all have it in us. But have you tapped into it? Have you tapped into that strength? Have you built up that courage? And do you know that you have the power to change your situation? I'm going to leave y'all with that. And for those of you who are in situations that you don't want to be in, and for those of you who want to leave that job, and for those of you that want to leave that relationship, and you know full well it ain't right, you know that if you told your mom about it, she would not approve it. That's when you know that you got a situation here. When you know if you can't tell your mom about it, you can't tell your dad about it, and you know that if they knew about it, they wouldn't approve of it, that's when you need to go about some change. And from there, you need to build up that strength. You need to build up that courage. You need to tap into your inner self and pull up that power that you have. Pull up the power that God gave you to be able to change every single situation that you're in. You can get up and take responsibility for yourself. I don't care about him. I don't care about her. Unless you get yourself together, you ain't going to be good for nobody. Him, her, the next, the other. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. If you would like to support Reading Between the Wands 411 podcast, anything that I got going on here, please go ahead and click the link above all of my social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, DLive, Twitch, Daily Motion. Click that link above and you will be able to get my books, Celebrating the Liberation, Volume 1, first book, released 2 years ago. And then after you get done reading this, you can get into Volume 1.5, The Liberation Remix Journal, a 30-day transformational journey towards a healthier mindset. 2 books. $9.99, $7.99. Scriptures, themes, quotes centered around some of the greatest public figures that I look up to: Mary J. Blige, Stevie Wonder, Chaka Khan, Faith Evans, Tupac, Nas, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, Esther Roll. List goes on and on and on. Nina Simone, Aretha Franklin. Can't even get into how many people are here. Plus a bunch of questions to keep your mind going and asking you, am I living the right life that I should be living right now in this moment? Deliberate with yourself and get it together. After you get it together, it's still never over. There's still a journey. There's still a process. You just learning who you are with the first book. The second one, you need to continue to water all of the seeds that you planted in the first book. You need to water, you need to write, you need to journal. My Inspirations, Volume 1.5, The Liberation Remix Journal, a 30-day transformational journey towards a healthier mindset. On that note, I want to say thank you so much to everybody who supports Laren Gaines, 411, Reading Between the Wands, the whole 9. I appreciate each and every one of you. And tonight, I was sampling Juicy Hill Rosé. 12.5%, I'll tell you. I got halfway through this glass here. On that note, I'll see y'all when I see you. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a good night.